You know, every moment is just a fine and a rare and a precious thing. And you don't need me to be telling you that. I mean, anyone who's lost a loved one knows this. Life is just such a moment that, I mean, it's just such a fine thing. And I'm going to ask you for about 170 moments, and I'm going to talk to you about a hidden killer in our society. Catheter-related bloodstream infections will claim about 25,000 to 62,000 American lives this year. There'll be 250,000 people who will get ill from a catheter-related bloodstream infection, usually a intravenous catheter. What happens is biofilm builds up, biofilm breaks away, person gets infected elsewhere in the body. We pump them full of antibiotics. We say a lot of prayers over them, and if they're lucky, they survive. And the tragic thing about all this is technology has brought us a solution. We have antimicrobial catheters. We have antibiotic impregnated catheters that will wipe out this infection rate. Here's some numbers. An antibiotic impregnated catheter will have about a rate of about 0.36 per thousand catheter days of an infection, but 0.36 of the time. Hospitals, generally about 3 infections per thousand catheter days. They're giddy if it gets down to 1.4. Now, we know that hygiene is a solution. Bundled hygienic approaches, sterile gowns, sterile curtains, can take us close to zero, but it can't take us to zero. Now, I know what you're thinking. Antibiotic impregnation leads to antibiotic-resistant drugs, antibiotic-resistant microbes. Antibiotic-resistant microbes will render our antibiotics useless. It's not how it works, though. What happens is the antibiotic impregnation or the antimicrobial coating on a catheter will prevent the infection in the first place. So hospitals don't need to pump people full of antibiotics. They don't need to pull catheters. They don't need to incur a cost of about $12,000 to $56,000 per infection. And what is a human life? And we've just spent a year, maybe 2 years, on a medical healthcare debate. What is the value of a human life? What's the cost of a loss of life? And what's tragic about this is that these infections are largely preventable. Technology has solved the problem. In the 1940s, a physician neurosurgeon named C. Hunter Shelton, he noticed people coming into the emergency rooms, a lot of head injuries from vehicle accidents. Within a decade, he had written a piece for a major medical magazine that suggested we needed 3-point seat belts. We needed caged cabins in our cars. We needed side curtain airbags. 40 years later, we got that. We don't have 40 years with catheter-related bloodstream infections. Here's another way to look at the number. Every night, tonight, tomorrow night, the next night, in our country, a plane's going to go down. It may have 70 people on board at the low end. It may be fully loaded at 170 lives. Everybody will perish. Behind this plane, there are 3 other planes that go down. We'll pump those people full of antibiotics, leading to antibiotic-resistant microbes. We'll say a lot of prayers over them. They'll survive. Tonight, a plane's going to go down. Catheter-related bloodstream infections will take its toll. You're not going to find any benefits out there for catheter-related bloodstream infections. There won't be any pretty rubber armbands. There won't be any 5Ks. And there's nothing wrong with that because we have the solution. And what I think the world needs now is a medical community that will enable and allow technology to save lives. Thanks for your time. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, John.